Hello, and thank you so much for joining us right here on CBS 8. I'm Heather Myers, and here at CBS 8, we are working for you and getting to the bottom of some of the problems you've asked about. We're looking for solutions. We begin with the tragedy in Baltimore. The Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed into the water this past week when a cargo ship rammed into it. Many of you have asked, could that happen here in San Diego? CBS 8's Jasmine Ramirez is working for you and spoke with an engineer about the Coronado Bridge.
Baltimore's Key Bridge collapsed after it was struck by a massive cargo ship.
Such a unique set of circumstances and such a tragedy. No one can anticipate such things happening.
Engineers say safety is always the priority when building these structures.
We as engineers, our job has a lot to do with the safety and well-being of the public.
Structural engineer Nehemiah Mabry says the Baltimore Bridge was built in the 1970s and Coronado Bridge was built in the 60s. Structurally, they're very different. He says the Coronado Bridge is a girder bridge, while Baltimore's is a truss arch bridge.
Referring to sort of the diagonal parts of the metal and the steel above, and then the arch is the shape. They're actually among the strongest freestanding structures, I guess, one could design.
Yet the cargo ship hitting the support structures appeared to snap the bridge in Baltimore. The Structural Engineers Association of San Diego says bridges just aren't built for this type of impact.
Impact from such a big ship is not something that you typically design. The Coronado Bridge, large ships are actually not allowed to sail under it. There are separate shipping channels for those kind of ships.
I reached out to Caltrans about the Coronado Bridge. I'm told safety is prioritized through rigorous and strict seismic and safety standards. Caltrans has installed fender systems on all major bridges to protect them if they're struck. And all state-owned bridges are inspected to meet the highest national standards.
Our thoughts and prayers are just with everyone affected, even in the least bit, by this tragedy out in Baltimore, and I'm pretty sure the authorities and those in charge will make the right decisions moving forward.
Jasmine Ramirez, CBS 8.
State Farm, California's largest home insurance provider, announces it will not be renewing tens of thousands of policies starting this summer. CBS 8's Shannon Handy is working for you to find out what options you have if you are one of those who are impacted.
This isn't just a State Farm issue. We've seen this happen with other companies here in California. Experts tell me there are alternatives for coverage. You just have to put in the work to find them.
It is a big problem.
Sam Spooner knows what it's like to have his home insurance policy canceled. The Rancho Bernardo man recently found himself scrambling, and while he did wind up getting coverage through the state's FAIR plan, he's now paying a lot more than he did last year.
It's approximately double what it was last year.
Sam is one of thousands of Californians dealing with the same issue, and starting this summer, more will join that list. State Farm just announced that beginning in July, it will cut 72,000 residential and commercial policies statewide because of inflation, regulatory costs, and increasing risk from catastrophes.
Yeah, I think that right now is a really precarious time for a lot of California homeowners.
Doug Heller is the director of insurance for Consumer Federation of America. I asked him what he suggests people do if they're set to lose coverage.
If you either are being dropped and non-renewed by your insurance company, or you've heard that your insurer might not renew you, it is time to start shopping the market immediately. That means going online to look for quotes, but also reaching out to different agents, not just one agent who represents a single company, but also an independent agent who might be able to represent multiple companies, because there are insurance companies still selling in California.
State Farm says it will alert affected customers before their policies expire and provide them with alternative options. Doug says make sure you don't have a lapse in coverage, and if you're not finding what you need via insurance companies, the state's FAIR plan is always an option as a short-term fix.
The worst case scenario is that you can't find a company willing to write. There is the California FAIR plan. Everybody gets a policy from the FAIR plan, but it's going to be expensive and not great coverage. So think of it only as temporary coverage and continue to shop. The only thing worse than paying too much for insurance is finding yourself uninsured when you need that coverage.
As for Sam, he echoes the same advice, especially when it comes to finding an expert who can help.
Get a local insurance broker. Don't try to do it yourself because it's going to be too difficult to try to work through the FAIR plan because they're so overloaded.
Working for you, I'm Shannon Handy for CBS 8.
Right, Shannon, thanks. The state's deputy insurance commissioner says he is looking into State Farm's decision to cut policies. To read his entire statement, go to CBS8.com and click on this story. Shifting now to people who are living in their vehicles. We have recently received a lot of emails from neighbors concerned over people parking on their street and then staying there overnight. CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez is working for you to explain the vehicle habitation ordinance and the impact of a recent settlement in a class action lawsuit.
Here in the Midway District, you'll see streets filled with parked cars and RVs on the side of the road with people living inside.
I couldn't afford to pay the rent here anymore.
David Howard has been living in his car for more than 4 months. He tells me that his financial struggles forced him to turn his van into his home. At the moment, there are 4 parking lots across the city of San Diego. 2 of them are open 24 hours. It's called the Safe Parking Program. Under the recent settlements, the VHO can be enforced as long as the city can provide a place for people sleeping in their cars to stay. But David tells me these parking lots are not ideal for everyone.
To be in a group like that with all these people like crammed in there together, I wouldn't be able to sleep.
CBS 8 spoke to Ann Menashe last month. She's the woman who filed the class action lawsuit in 2018. The suit went against the ordinances that didn't allow people to live in their cars and park oversized vehicles on city streets between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m.
It's complicated. It was very, very complicated.
This new court ruling means that if there are no available parking spaces at any of the 4 safe parking lots, people can stay in their cars without the risk of citation. However, this is a growing concern for some city residents. Stephanie and Ken Goldman reached out to CBS 8 for answers.
People park in front of our place for over a week or longer, and then that leaves other residents who live here unable to have a place to park.
I reached out to the city of San Diego to find out if there are any plans to add more parking spaces. Here's what they told me. The city is actively working to create more safe parking options in addition to enabling people to park overnight and sleep in their vehicles without risk of citation. Safe parking provides access to services and case management to help them work towards permanent housing. Ken Goldman is worried that this change will only create a ripple effect by potentially having more people staying in his neighborhood.
Our concern is that it spreads out and that sanitation, it's crime.
A spokesperson for the city says this settlement agreement means San Diego police will resume full enforcement of the ordinance after completing training, which started earlier this month. Caltrans says it will spend $1 billion over the next 4 years installing bike and pedestrian lanes across the state, including here in San Diego. CBS 8's David Gottfredson takes a look at one of the bike path projects underway near the 5 in Carmel Valley.
I'm actually going up Torrey Pines. I'd like to do laps on that.
Bike riders in Carmel Valley have been dealing with detours along this bike path between Route 56 and Interstate 5. Right now, bicyclists have to share Carmel Valley Road with cars.
It's tight and it's dark. You know, it's under the freeway. It scares me to death. I walk my bike through there all the time.
When the work is complete, a tunnel under Interstate 5 will connect the 2 bike paths and allow riders to avoid traffic. The project is part of a $1 billion bike and pedestrian path investment launched across the state by Caltrans.
We are going to connect under the I-5 bridge through the Penasquitos Lagoon.
Seth Cutter is a senior planner with Caltrans in San Diego. He says the purpose of bike lanes is to get people out of their cars.
We know that we have a climate crisis going on, and we're trying to combat that. And by taking people out of their cars and hopefully putting them on bikes and getting them to walk and getting them on personal mobility devices, hopefully that'll move the needle and help us get closer to where we want to go with our climate action goals.
But moving the needle is the hard part. Cutter tells me currently in San Diego, about 1% of people commute on bicycles, about 2% take the trolley, and 5% take the bus.
We're not seeing the results quite yet. We're starting the investment. In the last few years, we've been investing more, and we've built more and more bike paths.
The $1 billion bike lanes in California will take 4 years to build, but some, like the bike path connector under Interstate 5, are close to being finished. Caltrans tells me they expect to have a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the grand opening of this tunnel under Highway 5 in Carmel Valley in May. David David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Welcome back. An apartment building project with 3 of 18 units considered affordable housing got fast-tracked by the city. CBS 8's Anna Laurel is working for you. She went to Logan Heights and found neighbors are worried about the impacts the building will have on them and say neither the city nor the developer seem to care.
A 4-story, 18-unit condo building is going up on that corner. 3 of the 18 units are considered affordable housing, and the project got fast-tracked by the city. Neighbors are upset about the way the whole thing went down, or the way it's going up, as it were. But we spoke with the developer, who says he's doing what he's allowed. Crews are just breaking ground on this new apartment building in Logan Heights. Neighbors say they had no idea anything was happening where a duplex used to be here until a construction crew showed up last month.
We shouldn't be disadvantaged because a developer is taking advantage of streamlined policies to make these affordable housing units go up.
The project was fast-tracked under the city's infill development initiative called the Complete Communities Housing Solutions Program. I spoke with the building's developer, Alexander Alamani.
If you provide affordable housing units a certain percentage, right, you're able to take advantage of this density bonus program, build a larger project, and they'll give you some incentives, leeway with setbacks and height limits.
And that's where neighbors are having a problem.
I'm restricted by 20 feet. I'm restricted by the setback rules. I'm very interested to see if they are, which I know they're not for the height because this is a 60-foot tower.
We have solar on our property that we invested in to try and save on energy costs. The shadow from that building will completely block out the sun, meaning that our solar becomes obsolete.
And in this part of Logan Heights, the city waives parking requirements so the developer doesn't have to provide on-site parking, hoping people will use public transit.
My issue is that he has rammed through this affordable housing project, taken advantage of laws that Todd Gloria has passed.
In fact, neighbors pointed out to us that the developer's wife works for Mayor Gloria, so I asked him about it.
Does your wife work for Mayor Gloria?
She is the campaign coordinator.
And has she worked for him in the past?
She has, in his administration.
Alamani says he can't make everyone happy. He's helping the city address its housing crisis, and he's done everything he's legally required to do.
What the neighbors should do is, speak to the city, not just with development services, speak to their local council member, speak to the mayor, and get involved to address their concerns, because those are the policy makers, right? I'm just implementing the policy that the city has already adopted.
In Logan Heights, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
For weeks, we've been asking questions about a home cluttered with trash in the Ocean View Hills neighborhood. People living next door have been dealing with the home for more than a decade. And now, as you can see with this video, we are getting a glimpse inside the house. CBS 8's Kelly Hessedal is working for you and shows us what happened during a civil hearing at the Hall of Justice downtown.
An inspection was done at the home Monday for the first time in years. Hazmat crews, the city attorney's office, as well as police were all there. New court documents paint a very disturbing picture. Photos taken from inside a home on Mariner Drive that neighbors have been complaining about for years show deplorable conditions, from the kitchen to the bathrooms, to the stairs, to the backyard. Piles of garbage as high as 4 feet tall, boxes everywhere, clothes, rotting food, dead rats. City inspectors couldn't even get inside some rooms because there was too much stuff in the way. An inspector for the city says signs of rodent infestation, such as rodent feces, were visible on the floor. He wrote, "Words cannot adequately describe the condition of the master toilet. It was smeared with brown filth and the stall floor covered in trash."
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Lisa Golden, appearing pro se.
The property owner, Lisa Golden, was in civil court today and said she has health issues. The judge was supposed to decide whether or not to order a court-appointed receiver to go back in and clean up the property, just as it did 3 years ago. Golden asked for more time, blaming her attorney for not answering her texts or emails.
I have not received any response whatsoever from him, yes or no, so I'd like a short continuance until our next hearing date, for which time I can find counsel.
The city attorney's office argued this is just another delay tactic. We need to move forward.
She has on numerous occasions misrepresented things to the court. For instance, as I said earlier, I spoke to her attorney, who was here specially appearing the other day. He said he is not representing unequivocally Ms. Golden in this matter. This case has gone on far too long. The conditions are far too serious.
But in the end, the judge granted that continuance and set another hearing for next week. Outside court, neighbor Eddie Mead.
The delays and continuances are very disappointing. This is the way that she stretches out month after month. You know, usually it's appeal after an appeal.
And I contacted the attorney that Golden claims she couldn't get a hold of, and he confirmed to me that he is not representing her in this civil case. Now, the judge told Golden she needs to bring a doctor's note confirming these health issues. The next hearing is set for March 29th. Kelly Hessedal, CBS 8.
Time now for working for your wallet. The cost of homes is rising at the fastest pace in months, and renting might be a better option for some. Prices went up 6% in January compared to a year before. These are national prices. Officials say that's the biggest yearly hike since the end of 2022 and is close behind the 5.6% annual increase in December. That's according to the S&P National Home Price Index. Here in San Diego, meanwhile, Zillow says the average home value is at $994,000, and that's up 9.4% over the past year. Right now, renting may be the way to go for some potential home buyers. February's rental report from Realtor.com says monthly rent is less expensive than mortgages in the nation's 50 biggest cities. Gas continues to get more expensive meanwhile. According to AAA, the average price in San Diego County is about $5.05. While we have seen a steady climb over the past month, analysts say none of this is surprising.
So we are seeing an increase because of the demand. Also, the summer blend at the refineries, it is more expensive. So every time during this time of year, we typically see prices at the gas station go up because of that reason.
By the way, the national average for a gallon is $3.54. Well, that's going to do it for us. Remember, if there is something that you would like us to look into, just email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Thank you so much for joining us right here on CBS 8. We'll see you next time.